What would you do if you achieved extremely powerful abilities in a world filled with magical beasts and people? Well, that's the story of the manhwa we will be discussing today, so-called Secretly Cultivating for 1,000 Years. So without further delay, let's jump right into the video. The story starts with our main character, or simply put, MC, Han, working as a simple slave. He was an orphan left by his parents, but he was loved by everyone around him. He worked in a field of spiritual herbs, which were cultivated and used by Elder Iron, a high-level cultivator of Ki. Our MC did not have any cultivation skills whatsoever, but he was trying his best to somehow unlock them. He tried for 2 years but was not able to succeed. But one night, the Elder Iron demanded to see all of the slaves working in the field of the spiritual herbs. He checks the hands of every single one of them. He was looking for someone who had cultivation skills. After examining all of them, he finally finds one guy with some cultivation skills and potential. But sadly, it was not our MC. Rather, it was one of his co-workers. The Elder accepts him as his disciple, surprising everyone in the scene. I mean, the dude was looking at everyone as if he was looking for a sacrifice, not a disciple. But anyways, the MC gets depressed as hell. By then, he already made his decision about what he was going to do in the future. So he wastes no time and starts trying to unlock his cultivation potential. And after trying for 3 whole years, he had finally unlocked his cultivation potential. Immediately after unlocking the potential, a system appeared in front of him. He understands that it was not just a simple cultivation potential, he had unlocked 6 different key paths: water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and wood. The system also showed his relationships with the people he knew. He finds out that the Elder despised him, so he had kept his potential hidden from the old man. And ironically, the secrets grant him the power of using a barrier from which none can see from the outside. Talk about luck. He used this tactic to train for 2 years, keeping his abilities completely secret from the Elder as well as all of the people around him. 4 of his abilities reached the 7th stage. He was so close to completing his target. It was a thing he planned long ago. He had decided to leave the village after reaching the 9th level of cultivation, so he keeps going on with his training. But one day after harvesting the spiritual herbs, he encounters the female cultivator, or the fairy, who was the substitute for the Elder in his absence, and was in charge of the spiritual herbs. And one more thing, she is goddamn hot. Oh god, she's hot! She then asks the main character for a favor and brings him to an isolated place. There, she tells him that she is a member of the fiendish cult, known for causing chaos and destruction. Then, rather than doing something evil immediately, she asks him whether he wants to be a slave forever or to be free. She offers to set him free from his slavery, and in return, she says that he wants a favor from him. She wants him to obtain Elder Iron's alchemy recipe and give it to her. And not just that, she also offers to marry him. Yep, that's all you need to hear. No need to hear any other crap, let's just do what she says at this point. That night, she distracts all the guards from the Elder's house and the main character gets in easily. But he had other plans. He tries to waste the time by wandering around the house, but he still accidentally finds the scroll containing the recipe. Now, this is what you call suffering from success. And the fairy tries to take the recipe and go back, but the main character decides to stop her. He tries to attack her from behind, but rather he protects her from the attack of Elder Iron, who had just returned. He then gets knocked out and falls onto the ground, and the fairy fails to get the recipe, but she successfully escapes. After waking up, the main character explains everything to the Elder, who, after understanding the situation, lets him off the hook. The main character then gets back to his previous plan. He trains for another 2 years and at last reaches the 9th level of cultivation. He had also received a special technique called the finger sword technique. You thinking what I'm thinking, buddy? And for not siding with the fiendish cult, he learns the skill. He then immediately leaves the village and his life of slavery. After traveling for some time, he reaches the Jade Pure sect. There, he introduces himself as a rogue 9th level cultivator. He asks the guards about how to enter the sect as a disciple, but the sect warden arrives there. He overhears their conversation and asks the MC to see his spiritual energy. This was because he had to inspect the MC as if he could be a member of the fiendish cult. So the MC shows his spiritual energy by cutting a goddamn mountain in half. Come on, bro. You don't need to flex this much. But anyways, upon seeing the power in his appearance, the warden concludes that he was not, in fact, a member of the fiendish cult. So he decides to take him to the registration for becoming an outer sect disciple. While going for the registration, the warden tells him about the disciple concept of the Jade Pure sect. All the cultivators who wish to join this sect have to become an outer sect disciple first. Then the outer sect disciples have to participate in a competition, and the winners of that said competition will become inner sect disciples. After talking about these facts, both the warden and the MC reach the registration office, but before registering him as an outer sect disciple, the registrar wishes to see the key cultivation of the MC. But the MC decides to keep a low profile and not to receive too much attention. So he decides to tone down his level. He only shows him 3 types of key, but only if our boy knew that this was already way too freaking much. Both the warden and the registrar decide to directly make him an inner sect disciple. So they immediately go to inform one of the elders of the sect about our main character here, but the elder in charge was not available for quite some time. So Han had to wait for some time. And during this some time, he decides to increase his cultivation and ki. And after 6 months, the elder returned, and it just so happens that the main character had also gotten stronger than previously, so the elder approves him to become an inner sect disciple. But before that, he asks him which peak he wanted to join among the Jade Pure sect. Our main character, being himself, says that he doesn't like crowds and is a high-profile personality. He just wants to cultivate peace. So the elder gives him the perfect peak to join, the Jade Serene Peak. Also, I would like to inform you guys that they were doing all this talking while flying on a freaking bottle. What the fuck is up with that? Anyways, they both go to the peak and meet the master. Good God! Look at her! Sup, baby? Wanna take me out to dinner? Dude, whatever you do, don't screw this up, or I will be mad for you. After seeing the main character, the master does a short interrogation of our MC. Looking at his relationship status in the system, our main character finds out that the master has a good impression of him so far. So the master allows him to be a disciple of the Jade Serene Peak. And our main character accepts it without hesitation, as he can now cultivate without any disturbances. The master introduces him to the senior sister of the peak. I think we all know where this is going. Upon seeing our main character, the senior sister immediately falls in love with our main character. Every goddamn time. She takes him to his cave abode, and from this point they will be leaving on a freaking sword. First a bottle, now a sword. What's next, a hammer? Anyways, after reaching his cave, our main character wastes no time and starts cultivating into solitary confinement. He does it for 3 years straight. And after that, he finally gets out of the cave and immediately meets the master. He asks her if she could tell him a place where he could increase his thunder ki, as he was struggling to cultivate it in the cave as well as other places. The master refuses at first, and as cultivating too many ki might be risky. But the main character keeps on insisting, so she finally tells him that he can go to the Thunder Spirit Pool and cultivate there. So he does just that. He cultivates the Thunder Ki and breaks out to the Foundation Establishment realm in just a matter of 3 years. After he leaves the pool, the system gives him a message that the fairy, remember the red-headed hot chick at the village? Yeah, I do. Hubba hubba. She had left the fiendish cult. Even her liking of our main character increased to 4 stars, the highest he had gotten till now. But he ignores all of that and returns to the peak. Bro, come on! These frickin' hot ladies get... So you're a Sigma, huh? I gotta write this down real quick. After returning to the peak, the master assembles all of the disciples. There, she states that the Jade Pure sect is going to send disciples from every peak to perform an attack on the fiendish cult. The master chooses our main character from the Serene sect, but he declines, as he just wants to cultivate in peace. So the master gives the mission to the most senior brother of the peak. After that, while talking to some chicks, he remembers that he had missed the intersect competition that he was supposed to participate in. So he immediately rushes to the master and apologizes to her, but she says that he does not need to worry as he will have many more chances. She then tells him that he has something planned for him. She orders him to go to Jade Pure Sect's 10,000 Demon Realm, the place where all the beasts of the Jade Pure Sect are kept. It was the best place for him as he could also cultivate there in peace. While talking with the master, our main character suddenly realizes that there was another person in the room. It was Elder Iron. Look at his face. Bro looks like he just saw a ghost. Elder was the most recent member who joined the Jade Serene Peak, so he was our main character's junior brother. And after that, he goes to the 10,000 Demon Realm where he does this inspection work for 1.5 years. During this time, he kept on cultivating and increasing his powers even more so, but it was getting pretty boring for him. On the same boring day, he goes for an inspection of the area. But there, he sees the Demon King, who had broken the barrier and escaped from the place where the beasts are kept. So this is the story of the initial chapters of the manhwa series, secretly cultivating for 1,000 years. I enjoyed the show a lot, especially its characters. There were some moments that I laughed so hard on, and it was a great watch, and I recommend the series. I think that it will get even better the more it progresses. I also hope that you guys like the series as well as this video. Make sure to comment down below what's your favorite character and whether or not you want a part 2 of the series. And I would also love to make a second video on the series, but it will only happen if you guys like this video. Also, don't forget to press on that bell icon and set as all to be notified about all our latest new videos, and definitely don't forget to subscribe. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.